With regards to the paneling, and I am aware of the fact that budgets will determine what type of building or structure you do, but in this case, we are presenting a solution where the panels that are being utilized here today, Plycem Ultracem fiber cement sheets, panels, these panels have been produced, they've been manufactured with a whole number of considerations taken, and among those considerations would be things like water resistance, fire resistance, termite resistance. Termite don't attack them, they don't eat them like they would do with wooden product. They are also impact resistant, but when you came in the gate, over on the right-hand side, you will see a number of different panels being displayed there. When you're finished, you can take a closer look at them because they are different thicknesses, and obviously the thicknesses are for different applications. The application that you have will determine which sheet or panel you choose to use. In terms of resistance, the thicker the panel is, generally the resistance is more, but in terms of the studding, placement of your studs, that also increases the overall resistance to impact. We are going to start by asking Wayne, our installer, to start placing, placing the sheets in place, panels in place for installation. And you should note that there's going to be a pattern for placement of the screws because that's also very critical. So here, Wayne has an 11 millimeter, generally referred to as a half-inch sheet, and we have it cut so that you can still see the panels. And then in the top, at the top of that sheet, at the corner, where he's going to place the first screw, he's doing 2 inches from the corner going across the top. On the vertical side, it's 6 inches going down so that you do not create that breaking point along the corner of the panel. So, yeah. And then 5/8 of an inch from the edge. Now, with a 1.5 inches, 5/8 and 5/8 does not work out. So, therefore, you need at the joints the double stud or the correct studding for that application. Right? Come in. Okay, the screw that's there, that's a Plycem fiber cement screw. That one is set at 6 inches from the top, 5/8 of an inch from the edge. And the screws, when you get a chance to look at them closer, they have several fins under the head, which make it possible for it to countersink itself in the material. So the countersinking process happens when you are doing the installation. That happens with all of those screws that are made for these particular panels. Go ahead, Wayne. For the placement of the rest of the screws, generally you are doing the same thing from the bottom, but along the edge on the vertical, you are spacing your screws out according to the size of the area that you have to secure. So 6, 7 inches, maximum 8 inches is what is required. No more than 8 inches in any case, but you need to space the screws out evenly. And of course, if you're working with the vertical studs, you need to place the screws where they're going to be going into the studs and not sitting in midair. That screw that's being used right now is a standard grabber screw. It is supplied by Plycem, and that one is 1 1/4 inches in length. It has a high-low thread, and under the head, as I said, there are fins for countersinking. Along with that, you can have a similar screw that has a Robertson head. That one is Phillips. So you can use the square drive or the Phillips drive. The square drive obviously is a more positive drive. Now note that Wayne is using a tool that's not a drilling machine, because we tend to go for the drilling machine. The drilling machine, unless it has a torque setting, some people, unless you are skilled, like my friends over here from National Housing, if you're skilled, you can use your drilling machine. If you're not, use something that you can control. that has a torque setting that allows the screw to set, and then you hear the clicking when it sets. If you use a drilling machine, chances are you're going to end up on the other side of the sheet, which you don't want. The Victorian panel is the one which looks like siding, like wood siding. And most people who choose the Victorian panel and they understand how it goes on, they do a very good job with the installation. Those people who don't understand end up doing damage to the panel and have a jigsaw type setup when they're finished. The adhesive sealant would normally be placed on the studs, but definitely wherever you are placing panels that are going to create a joint, make sure that you have your adhesive and sealant in place there. All right, Wayne, just mark the location of the studs so that we can start placing some other screws.